Reece with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated. Folks, get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show. If I leave here tomorrow, Jets, hit it.
Would you still remember me?
Ah, that was hard. Wow.
For
I
must be
traveling on now, because there's too many places I've got to see. Come on now, let's get it together, guys. But if I stay
you're doing the second verse
with you, girl. Come on now.
Things just
couldn't be.
Hey,
Amul, can you get on beat, sir? I need you to get on beat, Amul. Please. There's a rhythm to the song. You don't just say the words. You sing them.
I'm not.
Okay, God bless. That was a horrible start, y'all. We apologize, but we don't. Thank you for tuning in. We're just having a good time today on a Saturday. Happy y'all are joining us. Yeah, there you go. Happy y'all are joining us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. There's a handy QR code up there at the top. Scan that. It will take you to our link tree. You can find all of our social media. Also, hit that like button. Whether watching now or on the replay, it is free to you, but invaluable to us. Really helps us out there in the algorithm to get out to those people that do not know us. And we always like new subscribers. So that being said, let me introduce you to my brothers here with me. You've seen them before. You know them. You love them from our previous MLB baseball coverage. First of all, to my left-hand side, got my brother Amul, the Agilist. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, you know what it is. Tell them people where they can find you at.
AM23 Photography just did a shoot this morning. If you pop on there now, there's like multiple moon pictures because we've just been having a lot of moons. We got another super moon December 4th or 5th. Get out there. Take a look. Look up.
Good. There you go. I liked your pictures of the beaver moon. When I read beaver moon, I had a very different thought of what I was going to see before I actually saw the picture. AP, being said.
I know.
AP, how are you doing today? Where you can?
Hey, what's up, guys? Jesus. All this talk on beavers. Jesus. Hey, doing good, man. Doing good. Happy Saturday. Also, won't be remiss without saying rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon. Again, took his own life this past week, unfortunately. At 2 days after scoring his first career NFL touchdown, which sucks. That just shows you how terrible some people's mental health can be. And all I gotta say is, don't be afraid to ask for help. I'd struggle with it too. I've dealt with mental health problems pretty much my entire life, but thankfully got people like Omar, people like Amul, and others that I can reach out to. So don't be afraid to ask for help, man. You got people that care about you. So
yeah, no, definitely. I want to second that sentiment. I also have dealt with mental health in my past, and it's something that you definitely should get help for. I know, especially for men, there's a stigma that you shouldn't go get help and shouldn't go through therapy and things like that. But therapy really helps. I went through it, and I'm not afraid to admit it, and it really helped. And hey, we got to look out for each other, and definitely, not only should you watch out for yourself and ask for help, but also just reach out to others. Even just saying hello and a smile most of the time, which is what I try to do to everybody that I see, just in case, because you never know if someone's just having a bad day, and maybe your hello, how you doing, maybe just even a smile might brighten their day, and you never know. Because again, like AP said, you never know what's actually going on with another person. We all deal with a lot of different stresses, a lot of different trials in our life, and you never know how everyone is going to handle those different trials, and we all handle things differently. And with the I don't want to say promotion because that's a bad word, but for lack of a better word, with the, more awareness of mental health these days, it's become a lot less stigmatized, even though it still is. Don't be afraid, as AP said. Don't be afraid. So, AP, where can they find you? Great message.
You can find me at Peralez 30 on Twitter. I'm also on the Let's Talk Sports Network, Rec Room Sports Hub, which we did lock it in this morning with our college football bets. We're doing it tomorrow morning for the NFL. And then, of course, Sunday night post game tomorrow night as well, following the Steelers-Chargers game, which should be a good one.
All right, there you go. Yes, make sure you tap in with Let's Talk Sports. AP is all over the airwaves doing sports shows on Let's Talk Sports Network. There you can find him on Let's Talk Sports with the brown logo on YouTube. Don't be fooled by imitators that try to call themselves Let's Talk Sports. There is only one, which, by the way, AP, I need to get with you so I can get hooked up on back to the Let's Talk Sports YouTube, not YouTube, but Facebook group, so I can start streaming there again.
You would have to talk to Tanner about that. That's not my
perfect. That's what I needed to know. I'll reach out to him. But anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in today. We're going to talk MLB World Series. Oh, and as well, make sure you tune in tomorrow for our football show, Sunday Showdown, after the day games, before the Sunday night game on YouTube at Ball and Buds. But anyways, here to talk a little MLB World Series. What a great World Series it was. One of the best of all time. We'll tell you where that ranks for us. We will also talk MLB free agency, some offseason news as, we're going to take our break for the offseason from talk. So we'll be back after this. Will probably be our last one till February or March. So we'll talk a little bit of offseason as well. That being said, let's kick this bad boy off. Gentlemen, what an amazing World Series. By the way, go check out the short I put out yesterday on YouTube. But what an amazing, it's already got 15,000 views. What an amazing World Series this was that we saw. Started out, right, that we were going a little back and forth. We obviously know that we got to a seventh game, which everybody knows that's the best two words in sports, right? Game 7. Game 6 that led us into that was amazing as well. So first of all, let's just get our overall thoughts on the World Series, and then I want to actually go into at least Game 6 and Game 7 where we can talk about the ending of the series. But what were your thoughts on the series overall? AP, we will start with you.
I mean, it was a fun World Series. It's probably one of the best we've had in quite some time as far as an entertainment standpoint goes. I mean, it had a little bit of everything. You had the 18-inning marathon. You had some good defense at times from both sides, offense from both sides. Some of the pitching was great in some instances. Yamamoto was fantastic. Even some of the Blue Jays pitchers pitched very well in this series. So for a series that not many
my boy Savage, baby, let's go.
So for a series that not many people gave the Blue Jays a chance in, because obviously it's the Dodgers. They have the most, they have the highest payroll, highest talent pool, what have you. No one gave Toronto much of a chance, and they went toe-to-toe, and in some instances, they outplayed the Dodgers in this series, if you want to look at it at the stat line. So hats off to Toronto. I know they're upset how it ended, but nothing to be ashamed of. Great performance.
Nothing to be ashamed of, but that is a heartbreaker, especially when you go up and you lead 11-4 or win 11-4 in a blowout in that game 1, and then all of a sudden you're in a back and forth series that goes all the way to game 7. When you come out that first game and blow them out the water, you got to think that you got at least the momentum on your side. And what did you think about this series overall?
This was, to me, one of the most fun World Series that I've watched since before the pandemic. I'll just put it to you like that. It was fun. It was, I mean, yes, they got up. It was heartbreaking, sure. We almost all became Canadians. There was a little known clause that if Toronto had won, we would all have to say the Canadian national anthem. I will bet you all need to learn it, but you should. You know, it's fun to say something time to time. But
your mic
it was
is cutting out a little bit, brother. You would get hard. It's like hard to hear you. I think it might be because of the space from you and the mic.
Can you
cutting out.
Can you hear me? You good?
That's better. Okay, cool.
Okay,
good.
So it was fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was just the back and forth. Yes, it's heartbreaking for Toronto, but on the flip side, we do get another Kendrick Lamar burn towards Drake, which was, as we know, we live for that stuff. So I think Toronto could come back, and I'm sort of just spinning those forward and saying 26, maybe 27. They could probably win one, but we'll see what happens as far as if LA decides to buy more players.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds a lot different than when you're usually on. I don't know if it's the headphones you're using or something, but it definitely.
I'm using the AirPods. You want me to rejoin? I can pop back and rejoin.
Maybe, yeah, or maybe try whatever you were using last time because it is cutting in and out.
Because it sounds like every other word's cutting out almost.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back. I'll be back.
All right, cool. But yeah, no, as he was saying, an amazing series. We'll wait for him to get back. Bobby G, shout out our brother Bobby G from the Audible podcast. He also does shows with AP very often. And no doubt.
That guy right there, that's another guy that I credit for a lot of help I've gotten lately, just mental health wise. Bobby G, awesome guy. Go check him out. Audible Sports Podcast also does stuff on Rec Room as well. So,
yeah, no, just like you said, Bobby G is also big into the mental health, and I want you all, if you're watching this program now, to please do as AP said, go subscribe to the Audible podcast. Check out Bobby G and our brother Wildcard Mar. Not only last night's episode, which was very poignant, but also a couple weeks ago. Both of them were movie type episodes, so you're going to enjoy the entertainment, but also the mental health segments were very in depth. The first time they had a guest on who went into his story of his friend issue that he had. And then last night they talked about Marshawn Nealon as well. So please go tap in with them and check them out because they do a lot of good awareness on that. And shout out to our other brother.
If you want to hear him shit talk the Raiders, go watch Thursday night's recap.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't watch
that game entirely was terrible. That game as a whole was garbage.
Well, as you would know, you didn't see me to the end of the episode because I didn't want to come on and hear the bullshit. So I just popped in at the end to comment and say what's up. I did not watch any of the show because I didn't want to hear.
To be fair, Omar, the Broncos were just equally as bad too. By the way, so.
Yeah, I know it's just one of the worst games we've ever seen.
And here's the thing: you play Dallas a week from Monday, but it's not the same Dallas defense because like half their team's coming back off injury, and they just got Quinnen Williams. So. Have fun, Raiders. Have fun.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I do not expect anything other than the march.
Although if Geno Smith throws for 300 yards against our defense, which if it's the old defense, I kind of expect it. If he does that, I quit watching football.
Dude, I mean, I want to keep blaming it on Geno Smith, but I just can't anymore. At the beginning of the season, he was making a lot of bad decisions, throwing too many interceptions. But last week, he had a 4-touchdown, 280-yard game. And last night, or 2 nights ago against the Broncos, I watched him have literally less than 2 seconds every time they snapped the ball. He was under pressure. It was like he had no time to get rid of the ball before the Denver defense was on his ass. Pause. So there was no time for him to pass. And I think we need to beef up that offensive line this draft. And free agency, don't even draft a quarterback this year. Just load up on offensive line in draft and free agency. Keep Geno for another year, and then draft Arch Manning in 2027. The march for Arch is on, baby. Let's go. All right.
I knew that.
Shout out to Bobby G. Shohei should have been MVP. I don't agree with that. I agree with the Yamamoto, and shout out to Wildcard Mar for mentioning that as his shout out on the show. But yeah, no, I agree with Yamamoto, man. He pitched a complete game. Then he came out and won game 6 and then came out and won game 7, or at least, pitched the end of game 7.
Closed out game 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Closed out game 7. So I have to disagree with you here, Bobby. Usually Shohei would be the pick, but this time I think Yamamoto proved that worked, which is crazy, y'all. after coming from Japan just last year and signing a 12-year, $325 million deal. He was able to pitch that well. So let's talk about that game 6, because we did talk about how Toronto was in the basically control of this series and how they should have been able to, at least in my eyes, they had many chances to close out this series, especially in game 6 and game 7. So, first of all, we got to talk about the play on game 6 to close the game. That has to be one of the worst decisions of all time by a base runner. I don't care what you think your skills are, and I don't care how far you think you can lead off the base because the fielder may not catch it. You have to be extra cautious with 2 outs. If it was no outs, I'd be okay with that chance. But 2 outs left, and you're getting doubled off on second from a throw from left where he barely cut. No. That, you know what? I would cut you that same day. You would be cut. You wouldn't even make it to game 7. I would tell them you had an injury. We would put you on the IR for the rest of the season, and we would replace you in game 7. Amul, let's start with game 6. What were your thoughts before I get to
First, are you all receiving me? Are we good?
Yeah, now we're much better. Sounds
okay.
better.
Everyone's trying to be Dave Roberts. Everyone's trying to be Dave Roberts circa 2004. You can't be Dave Roberts. That was 21 years ago. Do you know how much we've changed since then? Do you know how the game has changed? There's a ghost runner on second now. So during extra innings, I mean, I think that was to me the worst play, one of the worst plays in the World Series. And I think that guy's they're gonna have to really decide if he's gonna be, I mean, he'll be back, but I don't know. I think there's gonna be some base running tutorials during spring training that they're gonna have to learn, especially if Toronto wants to.
I'm forgetting who it was that got doubled off, because it was Varsho that got the hit, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Varsho that got hit. I forgot who got doubled off.
I'm forgetting who's got doubled off.
But,
I'm forgetting.
But it's one of those things where if Toronto wants to win, they got to do the little things. They did really well. They did decently well with everything else. They need to get a starting pitcher, but you need to base running it's just like when Toronto hit that we thought it was a home run and ended up being like it hit into the gap in center field, like all the way at the bottom. LA knew to just put their hands up and not touch it. So, Toronto's got to, the World Series.
I mean, that's crazy too, though. I mean, come on now.
It is.
I need us to be old school and go back to where you actually had to physically go try to pull the ball out first before the umps are just like, oh no.
Because here's the thing with that too, Omar, is we saw a game earlier this year. We saw a game earlier this year where that same scenario happened. The ball got lodged in between the pad and the ground. Literally, the umpire walked out over there and said, "No, you can pull it. You can pull it out. Pull it out." Literally, an umpire did that. So
it wasn't meant for that. It was meant for like the ivy. If it gets stuck in like the ivy and you can't reach it out, it was meant for like actually being wedged. Like
the way it looked, just from the certain angle, it looked like it was just literally just barely lodged under there.
Right. It wasn't. It was like hanging out right on the outside of the
wall. It just barely caught the edge of the
like,
mat. And you can still pull it.
Grab that ball. That's some bullshit.
I think it should be like, unless you make an attempt to try and pull it out and it doesn't come out. If it doesn't come out, yes, you can throw your hands up. But if you actually make an attempt to try and pull it out and it comes out, then yeah, it's not a gravel double.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That should not be a ground. That's a free base that they just got there just for throwing his hands up. But anyways, yeah, shout out my brother Clutch B. Appreciate you. It was Addison Barger and it was Andres Jimenez that was with the hit, not Varsho. So Andre Jimenez hit. Barger tried to go down the line halfway to third, which is a stupid maneuver with two out. He thought he was going to try to score if the ball dropped in. You just can't do that. You just cannot. But yeah, I mean, there were many different twists and turns, especially, like you mentioned within game 6, we just talked about those two huge moments, but Toronto had many chances to win. Then we moved to game 7. Toronto again, many chances to win. Not Andre, I just say Andre Jimenez, but Andy Pajes with an amazing catch in the ninth inning, running over Kike Hernandez, almost killing him just to catch it. No, it was great.
Scherzer turning back the clock a little.
Scherzer,
again.
the Warrior God, 41 years old, only pitcher ever to start a World Series game for 4 different teams. That is amazing. I mean, Shohei on the mound didn't perform too well, but just to see him in a Game 7 is great as well. AP, we'll start with you. Game 7. We'll see. Clutch B says Game 7 base running was bad. Also, hold on, AP. Game 7 base running was bad. Also, on the play at home, Toronto would have scored if the guy got a secondary lead. Yep, which in baseball you're taught at age 8. Yes, you're exactly right. Actually, they did. Analysts did the stats on it, and his primary lead and secondary lead were in the bottom 1% of all playoff runners this year. It was like 350 out of 370 in terms of from third to home in the playoffs this year. So he took
where does that all time though? Where does that all time as far as the World Series? No, as far as the World Series goes. I'd be curious to know that. I'd love to know that. Yeah.
But apparently this was Toronto has been doing this all season long. This has been their MO to hold players on at third so they don't get thrown out or they don't, like they did, get doubled off in 6. To be honest, it did happen to them in Game 6, but I don't think on third base you should be doing that when you have the game-winning run. I'm sorry.
I mean,
you got to take a little bigger lead.
Sometimes you got to drink the double-double from Timmy's and go and run past the sign and head to home. You know, you can't just sit there. Sorry, I don't mean to be running over AP's time, but you got to be able to forego like the rules that you learn, and you just go, okay, this is you
take a bigger lead. Take a bigger lead. All right, AP, what'd you think about that?
And it makes it worse because it's a guy I actually like too. IKF, guy we've had in Texas for a little bit. Obviously, had some time with the Yankees. He's in Toronto. Right now, and again, he gets a little bit more of a lead into that. He scores instead of being called out just by a hair. So they say baseball's not a game of inches. Well, it was right there because if they count that base, that's game. That's game.
Yeah.
Toronto walks it off and they win the World Series. So
Yeah, and actually, I have the stats here because I did them on my show the other day. So let me just give them to you anyways. In the bottom of the ninth inning, this was Dalton. This is where I got Varsho from, by the way. It was Dalton Varsho's grounder. What happens is, as AP mentioned, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa did not take a big lead. So here you go. His primary lead was 7.8 feet, which ranked 357th out of 381 in terms of lead distancing in the entire World Series. So all runners within this World Series. His secondary lead, 8.9 feet. So he only took a secondary lead of 1.1 foot. And that ranked 366th out of 381. So even worse.
Dang.
Now, get this. His sprint speed was 28.2 feet per second, which is tremendously fast. Which is, by the way, ranked 61st out of those, 300 whatever leads, 380 leads. Analysts noted if he would have took one extra foot of primary or secondary lead, he easily scores the run.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's that game of like, the little minutia where if you take an extra inch, you take an extra 2 inches, and that would have been better. But, Toronto played what cards they had, and it just, for whatever reason, they couldn't get it done. Now, props to LA for buying another championship, I guess. But
you're still mad about it, huh? Did I put that in the video? That's in the short. Go check out Amul saying the Dodgers are going to ruin baseball.
I mean, yeah, go right ahead. They're in Egypt. Egypt won. Egypt bests Greece. If you guys listen to my last one, you'll listen to my last appearance. You'll get the analogy. But as far as next year goes, or as far as the World Series goes, this held my attention like all the way through. It was almost like when Toronto blew out LA, it was like, okay, you have everyone's attention. Now let's see what you're going to do with it. And Toronto didn't disappoint. They came up short in the end, and that does happen sometimes. I for sure thought they were going to win in Game 6. I was like, all right, let's see if they can get it done and, avoid.
Sorry about that. My internet flipped out for some reason. I don't know why.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good, brother. No worries.
You're all good. But it went to a Game 7, and LA took advantage of it. So,
Shane P, what up, my brother? Y'all check us out on Sunday Showdown. Shane Peaches with Dirty Mojo, Clubber D, and myself talking football. So you check us out tomorrow night. But he says, I think the worst thing that happened in Game 7, Bichette being in the bases hurt early. They missed out on a run because of it. He should have scored. I agree with you. I remember the exact play you're talking about. They would have been up too late. I get it, though. He ends up hitting the big 3-run home run, but him not being able to run screwed them out of a huge run. I agree. Brandon then says they may go buy Kyle Tucker, so I'm sure they'll be there again. And I hate it being a Giants fan. Well, the Dodgers are not going to stop spending money unless they're prevented from doing so. And in baseball, there is only a little bit of restrictions on how much you can spend, and that just recently started. So
did you cover real quick? Did you cover like what Shohei was being paid this year? He was only paid $2 million.
Right.
Of his contract.
I get they're deferring his money, because he's making $70 million in endorsements every year. So I get they're deferring his money, but I mean, that all that means is he's going to make the money later. But what does that mean? That they got a bunch of billionaires running that thing. Magic Johnson could do that by himself. I mean, he had
another
money
Bobby Bonilla
to cure himself of AIDS. I mean, I don't know why you think he's not going to be able to afford every player on earth.
Now it's just too many deferrals.
I got 5 Bobby Bonilla situations now.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many deferrals will occur before MLB goes, wait, you can't, you have like 25.
At some point, they're going to have to stop that because it's just going to get out of hand in terms of their own financial transaction reporting, in terms of like team reporting, because then you can finagle everything and start cheating the system. And we definitely don't need that happening.
And then the Dodgers will buy Klarna.
Hey, salute my brother Skywalker. Boxing Media. Y'all check in with Skywalker Boxeo on Facebook, Skywalker Boxing Media on YouTube. He connects with every boxer in the world, so y'all check him out. We're going to have a boxing show here in a couple weeks on the 19th, Wednesday at 8 p.m., so y'all check us out. Shout out. All right, AP, did you give your thoughts on Game 7? I think you did. Did you?
Yeah. I mean, I touched on it. It was a good little back and forth. Again, so many opportunities for the Blue Jays to win that game, and the minute you brought out Yamamoto in the 9th inning, I was like, yep, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Because he's been doing this all postseason. Any start he's had in the postseason, any matchup he's had in the postseason, it's just been complete dominance, which is why he's the series MVP.
Yep. No, you're completely right. Yeah. And I do agree with that as well. So, okay,
I agree with that as well.
Did you give your thoughts on Game 7? I got a little bit.
I did. Okay. I did give my thoughts on Game 7. I do think I agree with Yamamoto being the MVP, but also I think it was a really bad play, and I know we're going to talk about this more in free agency, but for Bichette to say, oh, well, I'm going to leave Toronto right beforehand, and then all of that playing out where he didn't get the hit, then he got a 3-run home run, then he got hurt. I understand you're betting on yourself, but maybe announce it afterwards. I realize why you did that, because you were giving it teams false hope, but that's okay. Water under the bridge. But I gave my Game 7 thoughts already, so we're good.
Yeah. And so I want to show everybody what this kind of looked like when you're looking at this play we're talking about at home. So let me share my screen real quick so I can show you this. Here we go. Boom. So look at this. This is how close we're talking, y'all. Look at that. That is how close that play was at home. I mean, we are talking an eighth of a second at the most. And again, so that's where that primary, secondary lead we were talking about, that's where that comes in. Because as fast as he was running, as we said, I mean, look at that. Just an extra couple inches, even, as AP said, that's just crazy. I had to show this because I'm just so amazed by this photo. But anyway, so yeah,
it's a great photo.
Great photo. So that was Game 7. Turned out, like we said, to be one of the best World Series of all time. Appreciate you. Do look forward to it, my brother, as well. One of the greatest. So let's go ahead and rank them. Where do we think this World Series ranks of all time? We know that this is one of the greatest Game 7s of all time. Now, AP, you already done your rankings on your show the other day, so please, you go ahead first and give us where you think this ranks.
To me, it's top 3, top 4, because in that general, especially out of the last 20 to 30 years, it's top 3, top 4, because it did go to Game 7. There was a lot of drama. You had a lot of back and forth things going on between there. To me, I would place it 3rd, only behind 2001 between the Yankees and Diamondbacks, that upset. And then, of course, the classic that was Cubs Guardians at number 1 for me. So, and because all 7 games were great, I also put this just above Cardinals Rangers in 2011. Also because I'm a Ranger fan and I hate that series with a burning passion. Fuck the Cardinals.
Got it. I wanted to see where you were going to rank it, and now I'm going to give Ken Rosenthal's ranking, MLB.com writer and insider, because I wanted to hear where AP had first, which are very good rankings compared to what Ken Rosenthal has. And we will forgive AP. He is younger than Amul and I, so we will forgive him for probably not even being alive for the 1991 series between the Kirby Puckett-led Minnesota Twins and the Atlanta Braves. I
wasn't even a thought back then. So
okay, wow, I didn't even know you were that young. Jesus,
93.
Wow.
From the minute Joe Carter walked it off,
that makes me feel old as shit. Okay, all right, we'll keep it moving.
We should move on, Omar. we should move on so fast.
Damn, I can't be inviting these young kids on the show anymore. Ken Rosenthal ranks the Minnesota Twins. Go back and watch it on YouTube, please. It was a great series, AP. Minnesota Twins over the Atlanta Braves in 1991. Jack Morris and John Smoltz classic 1-0 duel in Game 7, 10 scoreless innings. It was awesome. Anyways, number 2 in Ken Rosenthal's ranking is the number 2 the Arizona Diamondbacks, New York Yankees 2001 series that AP talked about. He ranks this one as number 3. And then he has the one that you mentioned as number 2, the Cubs and Indians, as number 4. That one also went to a Game 7 and included 3 one-run games. And then he includes 2011, the series that you hate with your Rangers, as number 5. I completely agree with these rankings here. I do understand yours, AP, but again, you haven't seen as much baseball. And I would even go back further. There's been greater, I think, World Series, if you go back even further than that, before the parts of the fact that no one over probably 55 or 45 is watching this right now. They're probably not going to relate to any 70s or 60s World Series. So we'll just
I only put the Cubs Guardians at number 1 because you've got 2 teams who are in historical droughts. Both teams are looking, for the Cubs, 108 years, Guardians, 61 years, looking to get that monkey off their back. It goes to Game 7. You have the rain delay. You have all the theatrics in Cleveland of what's going on, the game-tying home run from Rajai Davis, and then, of course, David Ross in the 10th to get them. Or, I don't think it was Ross. I think it was I can't even remember half the players on that team, but the RBI in the 10th, and then the put out at the end in the bottom of the 10th to win it there, which is probably one of the more iconic moments in modern baseball history, was the ground out to Bryant, the put out to Anthony Rizzo. So.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely an amazing series. But I definitely, in my eyes, would rank Arizona and New York over that, and only because, not because necessarily of the game play, because the games were closer in the Cubs Indians, although the Diamondbacks Yankees did also go 7 games. We remember Luis Gonzalez getting the walk-off hit off of Big Mo, Mariano Rivera. But it was also because 9/11 had just happened and New York was in the World Series. So it was kind of like unifying moment for the country as well. So that's kind of why I rank it a little higher as well. So kind of sentimental to me, especially because I was in the military at the time after 9/11 at that same time.
The only two guys to really get into Mariano Rivera's psyche, Luis Gonzalez and Dave Roberts.
Ooh, I like it. There you go. By the way, gentlemen,
I think it was sentimental. I think it was sentimental to all the 2001 World Series. Real quick, I think it was sentimental to all because for those of a certain age, sorry, but we remember being in college and sort of knowing like just watching it with tears. Like we all have like varying degree of tears in our eyes. So proof, I guess, that guys can cry too. That's more of a men's mental health thing. We can talk about that in a hot second. We can get back to that thread. But sorry, I didn't mean to run over you, Omar.
No, you're good. You're perfectly fine. No, we heard you talking. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with shedding a tear either. If you need to cry, get a good cry. No. The last World Series, this World Series viewership figures historically big, y'all. Fox said that it averaged 27.3 million viewers for the dramatic 11 Game 7, and that's just in the United States. That is the figure represents the most watched World Series Game 7 since the Cubs Guardians, and the final figures say that they averaged 15.7 million over the entire 7-game series. And again, as we were talking about off the air, and we're going to talk about right now, this is huge. The viewership was huge for the World Series, as AP mentioned backstage, and I'm sure he'll touch on it in just a second. All the rule changes, the Robert Manfred game, speeding the game up, all these things has helped as well to inspire this popularity. Obviously, the foreign-born players help. The more younger, dramatic flair type bringing to the game players has helped. So this is a two-part question. A, how do you feel about the way that, as the kids would say, MLB has had their glow up in the past couple years since these rule changes were installed? And how does that lead into where we were going next year, where right now the MLB only has 1 year left on their labor CBA agreement, and there is a possibility of a lockout. Now, AP, you have insider information from MLB headquarters. Please tell us what you've heard.
Well, not necessarily from MLB headquarters.
Will you just be quiet and let me make up stuff that makes us sound smarter? God bless. Why do people always want to do that? Just go along
I'm
with it.
sorry. I like telling the truth, though, man. Come on now. Anyway, but yeah, I've heard from several people. I've seen several people talk, say that, yeah, we're inevitably headed for a lockout. The two sides are not on the same page right at the moment. They're probably about as farther away as you could possibly be, and it sucks because of what we've seen with baseball. The thing is, though, it's a little bit of hit and a little bit of miss too, because you look at what Rob Manfred's done to help speed the game up, draw a little bit more interest. Obviously, the Dodgers being as popular as they are, the Yankees being as popular as they are, having those two teams in the playoffs definitely helps. But at the same time, you have no TV deal at all. Literally no TV deal. All these teams are basically doing their own streaming services, streaming their games. You just lost the contract with ESPN, which honestly, that's kind of a good, kind of a good thing, honestly, because ESPN does not give. They didn't
give a damn.
They don't give a damn about baseball.
They didn't care about baseball.
They don't give a damn about anything other than the NFL and maybe the Lakers. That's it. The Lakers and the Knicks. That's all they care about.
Maybe the Lakers. We've had the Lakers on like 4 times, like in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, until we get rid of LeBron.
Literally, and I'm sure you guys can agree with this. ESPN is a shell of its former self. They are a shell of its former self. It's a little bit watered down as it is. And Rob Manfred was like, I see where this is going. We're getting out of this deal. We're not going back to ESPN. We're going to try and see if we can get somewhere else. To me, I think the best thing you could do for this is get yourself a bona fide MLB streaming service. Have it available for all 30 teams stream all 162 games. You can watch every game, or you could just follow your favorite team and watch all 162 of that. I think that would be the simplest choice to do. If I'm Rob Manfred, I think it'd be the simplest thing to do. But it's all going to come down, like you said, Omar. It's going to all come down to the collective bargaining agreement. That comes up in a year. They're nowhere near agreeing on anything because the players don't want a salary cap. The owners think it's a necessity at this point because of all the deferred money because 90% of the managers of the owners don't like the deferred money. The only ones that do are the teams that have the money, like the Dodgers, not even the Yankees like it, which surprised me a little bit. Not even the Yankees like the deferred money. Essentially, it's just the Dodgers and maybe the Mets that are on board with that. So, other than that, yeah. So that would be the only. But there's literally you got leverage for one side, leverage for the other, in some ways. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to get what they want, and that means that we're inevitably headed to a lockout. So.
And so I just have one question about the streaming service. What would be the difference from the MLB package that they have now on MLB.com?
It wouldn't be so spread out because you have games on Apple TV, you have games on Peacock, you have games on FS1 and Fox Sports. You literally
because I get the league pass like I do at NBA as well. So
I would say literally just have it to where you can literally watch all 162 games. No out of market BS.
Yeah, that would be good.
You could literally follow whatever team you're cheering for, whatever team. If you want to watch the Dodgers, cool. You can watch all 162 of the Dodgers. You could watch your team. You could, do whatever you want.
Yeah, and those blackouts suck. I know that whenever I'm dealing with that. But yeah. So I have to disagree just a tiny bit with the ESPN thing. Yes, ESPN did not value MLB as much as MLB should have been valued. That being said, I don't necessarily agree with the ESPN's going stale thing. I think, honestly, since they've been bought by Disney, now they've acquired WWE, now they've acquired or they have some still UFC rights. I think actually they're expanding.
That's a whole nother problem. That's a whole nother problem.
Whether you agree with it or not, it is what it is. And I am somebody, I'm also biased. I am very, very loyal to ESPN. I already had ESPN Plus before. I just upgraded my package before the NFL season so I could get NFL Red Zone and ESPN Unlimited. So yeah, I'm paying whatever it is, $40 a month for ESPN, Disney, and Hulu, but an NFL. So I get all four for it's like $10 a month for each. So I'm not really too concerned with it. It's not that much because I can watch everything I need to watch with those, four services. So again, I guess it depends on where you're looking at, but it's still not having media rights, not having a TV deal is never a good thing. Amul, what do you think about this?
So I disagree with you, and I'm sure you're not surprised. But the only viable portion or the thing about ESPN these days is what SVP, and now they've brought the inside guys along, and they're pledged to not mess with that. That's those are the only two things. That's it. That's the only two things. Everything. I was watching SportsCenter earlier today, and some guy decided to say, "Chat, we're cooked," and I was like, "We're cooked, really? Or why are we cooked?" Like, I know what he means, but you're trying to appeal to a younger demographic, and it's just not working. They're gonna make fun of you, and I don't know. I would prefer it if they had a more robust MLB app. I've watched Apple TV. I love that you can tune into the radio broadcast, the local radio broadcast, if you want to, and that syncs up with with what you're watching. So if they can port that into MLB, it's not that hard. It's just basic coding. I've done it. Everyone else who's a developer in the past has done it. I think that would be beneficial technology to bring over. Otherwise, do a partnership with Apple, just like Apple's doing a partnership with Google to get to get a more robust version of Siri. I That's what I would do. That's how I would sort of fix things. But to your point, I do think we were talking beforehand, and I made this comment about how, the MLB can learn a lot from the world of finance. We've had, without going into too much detail, we've had like 3, 4, 5 months of really great growth. I'm pretty sure it's been more longer than that, but we'll just take that short sample size. And no matter what happens, whether it's interest rate cuts or things, shift just overall societally, the market just keeps going. Yeah, sure, there's blips, but it ends up, you're gaining more money. So if the MLB can look at that and go, okay, well, we've got this blip here where we can see it coming. It's a big iceberg in 26. It's a bigger iceberg in 27. How can we mitigate that ahead of time? Let's start doing this, this, and this, whatever that may be. That would be really beneficial to them. Manfred would be, as opposed to being one of the worst, he might be one of the best if he actually, is proactive rather than reactive.
Well, proactive or reactive, you're never going to get me to agree with you on that. Rob Manfred is one of the worst sports commissioners of all time.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I do. I'm just saying if he wants to change his reputation.
I will say that, as AP said backstage, these changes that he made have made the game more aesthetically pleasing to the general audience. So that does help baseball. Yeah. So I got to give him a win there. Just like I was going to make a joke on when you said the finances and everything and going up, I was going to make a joke about Donald Trump.
I mean, what's Rob Manfred going to be known for? The pitch clock, the new baseball rules, and by the way, here's Pete Rose. You can have him back. Yeah, there you go. That's the big one.
What I would love to see is Jerome Powell is stepping down as Fed chair. Why not toss him into the negotiations for the lockout, for the MLB lockout? Why not? He's free. He's free.
Not something they haven't done before. They let what's her name, the one that was on Donald Trump's first staff. They let her in the college football voting.
Jerome Powell has been around since I think the Obama administration.
I forget what her name was.
Jerome Powell's been around for a while. So
anyway. I'm forgetting that. Anyways, all right, cool. All right, well, let's move it on. We'll see what happens there. But as we mentioned, there is going to be that chance of a lockout. And in my eyes, as AP said, they nowhere close. In my eyes, they cannot even let that happen. AP said they're going to start negotiating when the season begins. They have to get a deal. If you were old enough, and I know AP was not, but if me and Amul are, to remember the 1994 strike, which caused the Montreal Expos from winning the World Series, we should also say.
Yes.
When Montreal had a team. But now the Washington Nationals, for all you young fans out there. The strike, as we remember, completely decimated baseball. And it took years for baseball to come back into favor. And the only reason it did was because of Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire's home run race, which then dragged MLB back down because of the whole steroid era issues, which, great segue, Omar, you are amazing at this whole hosting thing, brings me into my next segment about the contemporary era Hall of Fame ballot. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are on it, and this is not the regular Hall of Fame. This is the contemporary. So this is once you get out of that, once you don't get voted in that 10-year span that you have a chance in the regular Hall of Fame, you move to the contemporary ballot. If you get voted in there, which is a little more lenient, which is possible, you do. If not, you wait a little bit longer and you go into what's called the veterans ballot, which is when you're really old and you get a last third chance to get into the Hall of Fame. That being said, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, we know were a part of that steroid era. Two of the biggest names. By the way, another note I saw, Victor Conti, he just died the other day. So the guy that owned Balco in the whole steroid scandal passed away the other day. So rest in peace to him. But anyways, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens involved in this whole steroid thing. What do we think about this contemporary era ballot? Because again, it is a little more lenient Will they get in? Then you have other people like Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, Fernando Venezuela also on the ballot. Amul, we'll start with you on this one. What do you think about this? And do you think
Let
Barry
him in.
Bonds and Roger Clemens will get in? Okay.
Yeah, let him in. Just at this point, like, it's happened, you know. I understand the reason to not let him in. I understand, okay, it's probably, you know, we can't let him in because Pete Rose isn't in yet. Okay, I get that. I respect that. Put that on a shelf. Let it be. Just let him in, because Clemens was great, you know, when he was around. He was a great Sox, and then later on, unfortunately, became a great Yankee, you know, and Barry Bonds smashed, you know, I think he's still the leader of the all-time home run record. But, you know, the fact that they've been waiting for this long, I think, is unconscionable, because you need to be able to you need to be able to properly, like, you know, let these folks in, and then let Sam and Sosa in as well. Sosa, McGuire, when they become eligible, if they're not already.
And so what do you say to the fact that steroids, you know, in baseball, it's a lot different because you need hand-eye coordination, but it still helps with speed and power. So what do you say to the people that said it was still cheating and still an advantage?
I mean, didn't we talk about it saving baseball though? The whole home run battle saved baseball and was a critical part of them turning things around. But we want to look at it as a black guy because they did steroids. And you saw some of the best pitching matchups ever with guys like Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens, and like the golden 90s and 2000s era of baseball, which a lot of people really, really, really still to this day go back and talk about. So, I mean, I agree. At this point, just let them in because, you know, they deserve it. They're some of the best in the game. They should be recognized as such. Yes, you want to put an asterisk in there? Sure, why not? We'll just say, yeah, they got caught doing this. Tell the whole story. Tell the whole story, but be like, hey, this is why we're putting them in the Hall of Fame, because they did this and they did this to contribute to the game of baseball. In my opinion, the contributions outweigh the detriments in this scenario.
And I think I agree with that. And I didn't used to. I as a baseball purist, I used to be the one old man shouting at the lawn like, hey, no, they shouldn't be in. They were using steroids. The people that they were playing against, a lot of them weren't. So they did have an advantage. So if you're a pitcher and you're Roger Clemens and you're throwing the ball harder and faster than most players can hit, especially if they're not using the same steroids, well, you know, that could be an issue. If you're Barry Bonds, who's, you know, blasting home runs 500 feet out of Giants Park, when we know that usually that's not possible for any other batters aside from Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, then, you know, there really is an advantage there. So for a long time, I was on the case that they shouldn't be, even though, and I know this to be the case, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens especially were already Hall of Famers before they started taking steroids. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer in Pittsburgh before he even started taking steroids. Roger Clemens was a Hall of Famer in Boston before he even started taking steroids. So they were both legitimate Hall of Famers, but they still took something that gave them to the advantage. That being said, I have now moved over the years closer to both of you all, as in, you know, there were a lot of contributions. You can just put an asterisk. It is about great players. So if they are good enough statistically to be in, maybe they should be in with the asterisks, as AP said. I also look at, and this is probably what kind of put me over the edge lately, is someone once mentioned, well, Bud Selig, who was the commissioner at the time, overlooked steroids and let steroids occur and let the steroid era happen without ever doing anything about it, even though he knew about it. And he's in the Hall of Fame. So if he's in the Hall of Fame, then why shouldn't these other people be in the Hall of Fame? So that was kind of what tipped my boat. I was moving over to the side anyway. So I agree now that they should be let in with the
and look at how many of these teams have openly welcomed these players back. I mean, we've seen Mark McGwire. We've seen Mark McGwire be a hitting coach in the league. We've seen the Cardinals to put him in the Ring of Honor, and Sammy Sosa, like we just this season, got welcomed back to Chicago, got put in the Ring of Honor as well. Roger Clemens has been around to all his former teams and has thrown out opening pitches and stuff like that. They still embrace, the fans still embrace these guys. They still embrace these guys like they were, still some of the best players. Barry Bonds too. He still gets all the love and respect from not just the Giants, but as you mentioned, Omar, from the Pirates as well. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, definitely beloved by their former teams. As you mentioned, a lot of them already being let back in the league as well to even, coach like Mark McGwire. So, again, if you're going to let them in the league to coach, there's no reason that you should be keeping them out.
Just put them in a different – if you feel that bad about
it. Make a steroid or a ring. Yeah, make a wing. Yeah. Make a whole wing for the steroid.
Make a wing.
And let Jose Canseco in. Jose Canseco, the godfather of steroids. He also has the stats to be in, and he would have got to 500 home runs if he didn't get blackballed. First 40-40 player, rookie of the year, and MVP in the same year. Jose Canseco, godfather of steroids, my favorite baseball player ever.
Rafael Palmeiro,
even though he lied to the Supreme Court and told him he didn't take it. And then 2 days later, we found out he was on the Broncos.
Look at the modern day steroid user. Look how many Yankee fans still embrace A-Rod.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. He got caught too. So
he was a Hall of Famer before. He was one of those that was a Hall of Famer before he got caught or before he started taking it. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's move it on. Last segment before we get out of here for the day. We're going to talk a little bit of free agency, little off-season news. So won't be back with you till about February or March. We're going to take the off-season off from baseball talk. But you'll see both of these gentlemen on the airwaves with us still for other shows. But we do want to touch on a little bit of free agency coming up. First, before we do that, what do y'all think about all these young coaches being hired? It's a whole spur of coaches. So get this. In the past just a little bit of time, Tony Vitello was hired by the San Francisco Giants. Blake Butera by the Washington Nationals. Both of them college coaches just recently. Kurt Suzuki just retired from baseball a few years ago by the Los Angeles Angels. Craig Stammen for the San Diego Padres. Similar scenario there. Some other recent hires, not so young, but other recent hires. Texas AP, y'all hired Skip Shoemaker. Atlanta's Walt Weiss. Minnesota hires Derek Shelton. Baltimore hires Craig Albernaz. Who the deuce is Craig Albernaz? I have no fucking clue. But what do we think?
I think he's the hitting coordinator in Cleveland last year.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the
hitting
coordinator in Cleveland.
What do we think about all these young coaches, these inexperienced possibly coaches being hired? What do we think about it? Especially the young coaches? What do we think, Amul?
It's a new era. It needs to happen. There are a lot of teams that are moving towards more analytics-based coaching, and it's helpful when you've got these coaches that can actually speak the lingo, know what analytics to use in what area. I've been privately championing, and I know if Reece was on, he'd probably be like, no, Cora should stay on. But I've been kind of hoping Veritek takes over for Cora. If Cora decides to leave, because screw him. But just from that standpoint of hiring young coaches, it's going to be beneficial. It's worked for other teams. You've seen other teams do it, and hopefully it works out all in the end. Honestly, because you sort of need that next generation to have their come up, as it were, or as the kids say, the glow up. You need them to arrive, as it were.
Yeah,
and that's what I think.
And not all of these guys are just analytic guys too. Some of these guys are actual baseball guys. Kurt Suzuki's a baseball guy. Skip Schumacher's a baseball guy.
Right.
The guy that the Giants has hired, baseball guy, won multiple World Series in Tennessee. These guys know what they're doing. These guys are not, and this is the trend we're seeing. You're seeing guys that are not only in tune to the analytics, but they're baseball guys. So you're gonna get the best of both sides coming in to some of these clubhouses. You get to get the best of analytics, you get the best of baseball, bring that together, should be good. I say should be, but you never know.
As always, I'm a little yin and yang on this issue as well. I do believe that, as Amul said, you do need to bring in fresh blood, just like we've talked about in when we talk our politics and how Congress and Senate and House needs to, get people out term limits and all that. I do agree that you need to infuse new blood, get new ideas. Maybe it is good to go into the college world and get these winning coaches. Again, we won't find out, like AP said, till we see how they perform, at least in the first couple of years. But I'm still old school, and I still believe that the best managers, especially in baseball and basketball too, are the older ones, the ones that have the Greg Popoviches, the Terry Franconas, the managers, the Buck Showalters, the people that have been around a long, long time that can install that wisdom. I find those coaches to be the best, but I'm not upset at this. Hopefully it will be a change for the better, as we've seen a bunch of the changes in recent years be so. So I will let like the guy said, we'll see what happens here and we'll update you, let you know how they're performing next season.
Could I ask why? Could I ask why? Why
I
you
believe,
lean
I believe that
towards
the
older?
experience, well, especially in baseball and basketball,
Right.
I believe that the experience that you have from actually being a coach in the major league system, because in football it's a lot different, right? There's so many players on each team, 90 players on each team. You got all these, so it's a lot different in the NFL. But within baseball and hockey too, you see hockey just rehires, experienced coaches, because in these smaller leagues with smaller groups of players, you can have more intimate coaching experiences where you can actually have more one-on-one time with your individual players. And I feel like a Greg Popovich or someone like that, like a Terry Francona, a Buck Showalter would be able to, and I saw it with Buck Showalter with the Mets, install a lot of good wisdom, not
fundamentals,
just young players. Yeah, not just the young players, but veterans as well will listen to them. Are these players going to listen to players that are younger than them? Now, we've seen so far in San Antonio, as I know AP can attest, the replacement for Greg Popovich has been doing an amazing job so far, and he's a really young guy. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's a really young guy. But we don't know if it's going to work in baseball, so we just got to see. Who is your coach's name?
I was asking because I'm trying to find his name too. I was asking because I agree with you somewhat, but I also think that coaching trees are better because there's so few like older coaches now that are willing to coach that you have to rely. Mitch Johnson, I think, is the guy that's popping up.
Okay,
as
right.
the San Antonio. So, but I'm a fan of the coaching trees. So if you can get someone from like the Popovich coaching tree or the Steve Kerr coaching tree, as it were, then you're all the more better, because then you're it works out a little bit. And I don't know if Showalter has a coaching tree or not, but it'd be cool to see. I don't know. Is he returning to the Mets next year, or
no?
Is
he's
he
not with the
returning
Mets anymore. We got.
okay.
I don't know who he's with now. We got what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Doesn't matter. He did all right. Anyways, okay, let's move it on. Free agency, man. Yes. It's not a great free agency class this year, y'all. But there have been some players that have opted out, including and I believe he just resigned with y'all. Amul, you can let me know if I'm right or wrong. But Alex Bregman opted out, right? From the Red Sox?
Bregman opted out and has not re-signed. Story did not opt out and said, "Hey, I want to come back for 2 more years." So that's what happened. Is we got Story back and we got Jaron Duran. He renegotiated his contract and signed a 1-year tender with us.
$7.7 million for arbitration.
$7.7 million, yeah. I think eventually I would like to see us get Bregman back, but I also think that Murakami is somebody that we can sign. I'm a huge fan of his. I know he has a lot of swing and misses, but that's just patience, and then let's pick up another pitcher or two to help buttress the starting lineup that we have, because I don't know if we can rely on who we had the back half of we can, but we can rely on the Peyton Tolles and the earlies, the Connolly earlies, but maybe give them another year of seasoning. I would also trade Marcelo Mayer, to be honest, if we could.
Okay, not a Red Sox show.
I know.
I need you to stop going on about the Red Sox. This is an MLB show. sir. Munetaka
Sorry, my bad.
Murakami. You're good. I'm just messing with you. Munetaka Murakami is the Japanese player he is talking about. The he's a first baseman right now, but he'll probably end up at DH long term. But he is projected. He was posted.
I got Schwarber. I got Schwarber going to the Mets.
Oh, okay. See, this is what I was going to
Mets,
ask.
by the way.
This is what I was going to ask you and AP because also opting out from my Mets, Pete Alonso, Edwin Diaz, opting out from the Yankees, Cody Bellinger. My personal pick would be to just sign Alonso and Diaz back and say, forget Schwarber. But Schwarber is also a free agency. I'd rather have Alonso, but Schwarber is there and he is available as well. You also got some other players, Bo Bichette, previously aforementioned, Framber Valdez.
Yes.
Pitcher. We talked about Cody Bellinger, Dylan Cease, another pitcher, Ranger Suarez, another pitcher. So AP, talk to us. What are you thinking about free agency?
It's so weird, this free agency, though, because, people are going to be looking ahead and they're going to see, we're going into a lockout.
Do we want to?
We're not. This is going to be the year where you're not going to see big money deals get done this offseason. Unfortunately, it's going to take till maybe spring training to see some of these deals get done, especially when you've got agents that put things off till the last second. There's in particular that always comes to mind, but. There would be some interesting moves. There's a lot of talk of Pete Alonso going to Texas because we definitely need a first baseman. Unfortunately, Omar, I've also heard.
You stay off the phone with DeGrom. You stay off the phone with DeGrom.
I've also heard maybe Pete Alonso to Atlanta.
God bless. Don't you ever in your life let those words come out of your mouth again, okay? I'd rather him go to the Cubs. Damn it.
And there's also talks. There's also talks that we might actually be moving on from Marcus Semien, so that might be another piece that gets moved.
Right.
So it'll be an interesting offseason for sure. If I had to make one prediction right now,
please do.
That's crazy. I would say Alonso to Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're going to want to move. They're going to want to move off their first baseman, and I think that putting a Pete Alonso would definitely help that offense for sure.
Definitely.
We'll take Edwin Diaz off the Mets' hands as well, actually.
Okay. Keep your grubby Boston Red Sox hands off of my players, okay? First of all,
I'm one person prediction for you. Go ahead. I think Philly's going to get nothing. I think the Phillies are going to get nobody. Because looking at the class, I think Tucker could go back to Houston, or he could sign with the Rangers, maybe. Bellinger is going to return to New York. I would love to see us clean up the Sox, and I'd love to see the Nats maybe get a free agent or two and actually spend. I think at the crux of this is we want teams to actually spend money and realize it's going to be short-term deals, but spend the 2 years, $30 million or whatever you were going to pay them, whoever you were going to pay, and actually, get deals done and see how. I don't know how it's going to work with the lockout. If they're going to go ahead and if the lockout's coming, are they going to extend the deals out or just have opt-outs? Or I just don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah, that's what makes me think that we'll get Pete Alonso back is what you both said, like AP bringing up the lockout. One person that doesn't have to worry about a lockout is Steve Cohen. He doesn't give a crap about that. He'll spend the money either way, which if other teams aren't, and we can sign Alonso to a short 3-year, $150 million contract, that'd be great. That way we don't have to worry about him getting away and us having to go out and pay even more for a Schwarber, who I don't even think would be better for the Mets since Pete Alonso's homegrown. That being said, it is a weak free agent field, so if you are going to spend short contracts, this would be the time to do it. When Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette and Alex Bregman, Kyle Schwarber, that's like your top Pete Alonso's your top 5 batter kind of thing. Yeah, you're going to be looking at shorter contracts, less money, and that's probably what's going to happen this year, as AP said. So, all right, cool.
You're going to see some of these teams. You're going to see some of these teams, Omar, that they're going to try the cheaper option first. A lot of these teams are going to try the cheaper option first because of of everything going on. Like for Texas, you'll probably see, hey, how much is Nathaniel Lowe worth now? Because we know him. He's played here, helped us win a World Series. That could cover first base. I think they're bringing Jock and Jake Berger back, so you could have one of those guys be your DH, your go-ahead DH. That would definitely help. You could see some of these lower contract guys probably get deals done first before anything else.
I like it. That's a great analysis and a good point, my friend. All right, cool. Well, hey, everybody, we really thank you and appreciate you from tuning in today to Ball and Buds. Make sure you subscribe at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. There's a handy QR code up there at top. It'll take you to our link tree. It has all our social medias. Go ahead and hit subscribe to that YouTube, follow on Instagram as well. Hit that like button, whether watching now or on the replay. Free to you, invaluable to us. Please help us out as well. Go and tap in with our brothers here. Make sure you get together with them. Amul, please let them know where they can find you.
You can find me at AM23 Photography. Just was at a shoot this morning, and I updated the Chiron there to say Cognito Ergo Sum. We've got one that's going to drop, a piece that's going to drop in November, and then the annual parting shot piece in December. So happy New Year to everybody.
Nice. Looking forward to it, just like a beaver moon. AP, let them know where to find you.
You can find me at the Let's Talk Sports Network, also at the Rec Room Sports Hub as well on YouTube, at Peralez 30 on Twitter. Do want to mention real quick, Penn State is up 4 with 2 minutes to go, about to upset Indiana. So
we got to go. We got to get off. Yes,
we got to go.
I need to go watch this game. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in again. Make sure you get with everybody there. Oh, one more thing I want to say. Prayers to Los Angeles Dodgers reliever Alex Vesia and his wife. Yes. It was announced that he was going to miss the World Series because of personal matters. It came out after the World Series that they unfortunately and horribly lost their newborn daughter. So prayers up to him and his family. That's very, very sad. So, but that being said, please make sure you reach out to your family, to your friends, that you're always spreading love. Again, keeping your mental health intact, and we get prayers to everybody out there that needs them right now.
If you need assistance, lean on your network. If you've got a close group like Omar, AP, you can reach out to them. Everyone, myself included, has struggled with mental health. Please reach out to your network. There is somebody who will listen, guaranteed.
Text or call 988 suicide hotline if you ever need help. People stand by 24 hours a day. Do not be afraid to call. All right. Thank y'all so much, brothers. I appreciate you. Until next time, it's been Ball and Buds. Holla.
He's with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist. Yo, I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me street pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back, in fact this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Oh,